Welcome everybody to Spin a Rack Review. Today we're looking at Killmonger #2, also known as By Any Means. It's written by Brian Hill. Gotta give him credit because his writing in this book is great. Lettering by Joe Sabino and a variant cover art by Jeff DeCal, which I just love to look at it. You have the Kingpin on the cover with Killmonger, Knight, Rook, and King all shooting their guns. It's just off the train. This cover, along with all the Marvel covers for this week, are all paying tribute to Stan Lee. The first 3 pages of the book are blank black pages, with the fourth being the image of Stan Lee. The last page in the book has something from Stan's soapbox, so you should definitely read it because, you know, why they're doing comics. So, hey, let's progress on to the review of the comic. Killmonger #2 is off the chain. I'm impressed. I don't know what else to say. I like the art, I like the writing, and I like the way things are progressing. We see them meet up in a club. They're having a good time, and they're planning their next possible. They've been successful, and they want to start doing something bigger for Kingpin. And you can see also within these pages the relationship that's starting to develop between Knight and Killmonger. We also see that King is trying to give Killmonger some great advice. You got to control your rage because your rage can be your undoing, basically, and you have to have more than just your rage to go forward. And this is Eric. He's young. He's going to do whatever the hell he wants. So King finally hooks up with Kingpin, and Kingpin gives him a new job, and the job is for them to go after some international criminals that he wants all killed at the same time. So this is a particularly difficult job, but he's giving it to them, and they're going to take care of it. If they want to move on to the big leagues, that's what they want to do. They want to get away from just doing these small jobs and do the jobs where they can make tons of money. And and it's just for King, he just wants to do it and it gets out of there. But Eric just wants to, he wants more. He just wants more. It's also particularly that's interesting. We also see a flashback of him when he was in South Africa. Somehow he had been taken out of Africa after the death of his father, and he's now in South America. And, guess what? Who's he dealing with? He's dealing with Claw, and he is, Claw is the one that gives him his name, Eric, which is pretty interesting, and tell him that he has to just leave Wakanda behind. Even though he may be a noble Wakandan, he has to be, who he is now and move forward. And as you can see, he never gets past that. Moving forward, the crew has made the splash pages involving King, Rook, Knight, and Eric when they attack these criminals is just off the chain. I'm telling you, alone you should buy the book just to see how this looks. The splash pages on this, you gotta look at it. It's just action oriented. The fighting, the blood, the bullets is just like, wow, you just actually feel like you're standing still. So enough credit goes to the artist, enough credit goes to the writer of this story. It's just fantastic. I mean, you see some of this of what's actually going in, and I can't show you the whole thing because you don't have to. What's the point in buying the book then? But I do suggest you go out there and get the book. And then they're successful, and they go back to Kingpin for a new job, and here's the problem. Kingpin's like, okay, guy, I have an opening, and it's basically, I want you to go against my #1 assassin. And King is like, you know what, that's a wrap. I'm not into doing this anymore. He doesn't tell that to Kingpin, he tells that to the crew. And the crew's like, what do you mean? Let's get this thing going. And they're like, yo, do you know who the #1 assassin is? And in the interim, while they're talking, what do we see? We see somebody with a bolo. A bolo, my friend. He's spinning around his hand, and he throws it to the guy whose neck is the guy who's invulnerable, which is Rook, and blows his head off. And who do we see? The #1 assassin is Bullseye. And he's like, yo, you guys looking for me? So, oh my gosh, I was like, that is off the chain. So Kingpin's like, yo, there's only room for one. If they're really good, they'll take him out. If you're not good, the other way, vice versa. So it's pretty cool. That's what we're up against, and we'll see how the crew is able to deal with that when they're already down one member. King was trying to tell them, like, let's go, and they didn't want to hear. But look, it was off the chain. So look, all I gotta say is run it, get the comic. This is underappreciated, and you'll enjoy it very much. Spin a Rack out.